How to backtest using MT4. Probably one of the biggest questions that I get on YouTube now, especially with the content I was creating in Q4, the things I was mentioning regarding MT4. So I really wanted to show you a clear video, a clear walkthrough today of exactly what to do, what not to do, things to think about, guidance points, things that I think about, how I collect data, and everything else in between. So it's going to be really good. Cannot wait for this video. So without further ado, let's get into it right now. So diving into the platform now, so we're starting off on MT4. Now I do get quite a few questions about this because normally you can't run MT4 on an Apple device such as a Mac or a MacBook Pro. So in order to get around that problem, what I had to do is download number one, Windows, because you can't run MT4 without Windows as far as I know anyway. And then I had to download Parallels. So Parallels is a Windows-based platform that allows you to essentially run MT4 on the device that you want to without having any trouble. So I had to download Parallels followed by Windows 10, and then I could actually run MT4 on those platforms. And that's where you can see I've got Windows down here. I can now allow to minimize it and go back from the Windows back to the Mac, back to the Windows. So it just makes everything smooth and just an easy process to use. So I do recommend that if you are looking to backtest using MT4. Now, I would normally use TradingView to backtest. I love TradingView for backtesting, and to be completely honest, I much prefer it. I much prefer the whole layout to MT4. However, due to the fact that I couldn't, when I started to backtest the lower time frame stuff, so I'm talking sub 1 hour, sub 15 minute, there was only a certain amount of data that I could actually access on TradingView. So I think that's something that they may work on in the future. I'm not too sure. However, right now I had to, dig into other platforms and use MT4, because without that, I wouldn't be able to backtest, before, let's say 2018, 2019. So I had to use this platform to be able to go back to that data to essentially test my strategy over the course of 3, 4, 5 years of data, just to prove to myself that it does work. And, a lot of you are going to be familiar with that process. So this platform right now that I'm using is called Soft4FX. Now, I highly recommend this. I'm of course not affiliated with any of these guys or this company or this person or whatever, but I just got recommended it by a word of mouth by a friend. Started using it myself, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely a great platform. Definitely the best I've come across so far to actually backtest and run a backtesting simulator through MT4. So highly recommend it. You can download a free trial. I do prefer the paid version just because on the free trial you only get 4 trades to take, I believe, before your time limit, your essentially trade limit runs out and you have to start over again. But it's literally like $99 or £99, I believe. So it's not too expensive, considering if you get your essentials for a strategy made through this, then you've got to think about the risk to reward of that comparison. So just something to think about. But let's dive into this. So I'm not going to talk you through how to set up this Soft4FX. The reason being is because it tells you exactly how to set it up on the website, and it is a little bit fiddly. So once you get it set up, you'll come to this platform, and once you actually install everything, restart the Mac if you need to, and then once you've done that, you'll come to this platform here once you've logged into the Forex simulator. So once we've got everything sorted, all we need to do is go down to Data Center. So if we click on Data Center, we can see that we have all the different pairs from Euro Dollar all the way down to some of the more exotic and minor pairs. And we also have some commodities like gold and silver, some oil, we have some equities and things like that as well. So we've got a lot of different variation. You may need others beside this, but a lot of you are going to be covered with these currency pairs, which is perfect. So as you can see, I've literally downloaded data for 3 pairs. So Euro Dollar, Pound Yen, and Pound Dollar. So I'm just going to clear these because I don't need these right now. Oh, let's keep these actually, because I will need one of them. So all you need to do is make sure you've got enough space on your Mac, of course, but then you just download the data. So let's say I wanted to download Aussie dollar data and I wanted to download the last 3 years of data. All you then do is you just download that. So it's going to take a little bit of while, probably it's going to be done in 10-15 minutes depending on your speed. But once you've done that, you can have data for that pair, and you're going to be able to access those 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus years. You can go back as far as you like, of course. I don't think it's relevant any past 5 years, to be honest, but it's entirely up to you. But once you've done that, you can then go on the data and actually access the data, whether that's on the weekly chart, whether that's on the daily chart, whether that's on 2-minute time frames or 1-minute time frame. You can actually access that data, which is super helpful in my opinion. So we've got that, so we can close that now, and let's start up a new simulation. So we can choose the selected pairs that we have downloaded so far. So for this equation, I'm just going to use euro dollar. Now, once again, this is talked about on the video on the website, I believe, but the provider that I use is Dukascopy, just because this is the most accurate data I've found so far to the live markets that would have been present at the time. So that's what I use. But of course, like anything, it is personal preference. And then we come to the main settings. So we can start the simulator. You choose the exact date that you want to start from. So let's say I wanted to start from January, 1st of Jan 2019, account currency USD. You can put in the exact amount. So let's say, this is also good as well to picture what exact amount you want to be using. So for example, if you have a 20k account, you can of course put 20k in there. But if you're looking to get funded in the future, or you're looking to trade a higher amount, you can also play around with those amounts. Let's say you want to trade a 100k account, we can put that in there just for metrics. Select the time on the charts. In my case, because I'm UK, I wanted to use GMT. Then if you wanted to end the simulation on a certain date, you can do so as well. So let's say we wanted to end this on, let's say we wanted to do a backtesting period from January to March 2019. We can end that on the 31st of March 2019, and then it's going to cut off there. So you won't be able to backtest any further than that. Leverage 100 to 1, but of course you can choose it. As you can see, max here we got 1,000. You shouldn't be needing any more than that anyway, in my opinion. Spread. Now this is where you can do fixed spread or real variable. Now of course in the live markets during different time zones, what this is going to allow you to do is actually get the accurate data that it would have been at the time. So for example, if you've got a 1 pip spread or a 2 pip spread on euro dollar at that certain time, it's going to allow you to actually use it in the moment as it would have been back then, which is super helpful. I've never actually seen that before on any of the platforms, which is very helpful. If you wanted to do a commission as well, you can add that. Now, initial data on the chart. So if you wanted to go back 15 days, then you can. I usually use like 90, just so that if you want to scroll back on the charts and zoom out, you've got that available data to actually go back. So I'll show you what I mean in a minute as well. Once we've done that, we can just start the simulation. So we can start the simulation. I'm on my Mac right now, but I can just drag it into my corner. The bigger the screen, the better in my opinion. And what you need to do from then on is we can go on charts, and then here's where we need to add the time frames. So we can see we've got different custom time frames that you need. Let's say you wanted to backtest the 1 hour time frame. It's going to be standard for a lot of people. We can use standard charts. There's even seconds chart. I haven't dug into that myself because I don't need it at this point in time, but we have got standard chart or anything else too. And then yeah, pretty much good to go. Let's go on 1 hour. Perfect. Also, if you wanted to add multiple time frames, you can actually add another one. So let's say you wanted to backtest multi-time frame analysis, which is a little bit tricky, I'm not going to lie, but you can definitely do it. I had to do it in Q4 2020. So let's say you wanted to add 2 time frames, you can then open this one. That's going to come up, and then you can open up a second one as well. So that's no problem, we can close that. So now we are good to go. So once you've got your charts up and running, that's when we can customize the actual layout of the charts if you choose to. Of course, you can keep it like this or the standard chart, but it depends how you want to trade. I don't personally like this kind of chart, wouldn't be able to see too much. So you can see the outline of charts, but if you want to see the specific candles, I find it helps to actually design your own layout. So what we then need to do is go on charts, go on properties, and then you can customize how exactly you like it. Have a play around with it. If you're new to MT4, it takes a little bit of experimenting just to figure things out, but you'll get it. And I've already got my template, so I'm going to go on the template that I set up. So let's go to this dark navy charts. Perfect. So this is the one that I've got set up. So it's navy bars with a navy background plus white downwards bars as well. So we got this, and this is a 15-minute time frame. We can do the same for the 1 hour too. Let's go back, charts, template, load template. Okay, sorted. So we are good to go with that, and now we're moving on to the next stage. So once you've got your template set up, once you've got everything sorted, this is when we can get into actually backtesting yourself. So I do recommend having a spreadsheet to track the data. Otherwise, you can just use backtesting for simply just getting your eyes used to seeing certain moves, getting the subconscious part of your mind involved, and just seeing these moves play out over and over and over again to give you confidence in the strategy that you trade. But I do just recommend having that, data to actually come back to at a future date if you want to, so that you can actually prove to yourself that a strategy or style or it actually works for yourself. So for example, if you've got 2, 3, 4 or 5 years of data on a spreadsheet, then you can actually go back to that and be like, cool, well, for example, the reason why this is helpful is because if you take 2 wins followed by 3 losses in the live market with that same strategy, if you didn't have that data, you may be questioning yourselves after that 3rd loss. You may actually hesitate on that 4th position, and that 4th position could indeed be a winning trade, right? But if you go back to your data and be like, okay, well, my max drawdown percentage is usually from 5 years of data, 4 losses in a row. So technically I shouldn't have more than 4 losses in a row, sticking to this pair, sticking to my strategy, if I had done everything right according to the plan and the strategy that I've set up. So that is why it's helpful. So I do recommend having a spreadsheet. I don't have one for you guys just yet, but I will of course do one in the future for you. The one that I was using is a third party, so I don't want to, give that to you because it's just not my place to give. But in the future, when I create my own and customize my own, I will be sharing that with you for sure. So let's get into it. So as you can see, the date down here is the 31st. So what it's going to do is take you back a day before the time frame that you selected, and then all we need to do is this is what we need to focus on here. So this is the speed. So this is the parameter that we can access the speed. So for example, I'll show you. So if we wanted to do 29 ticks per second, if we play that, you can see on the screen price is starting to move a little bit. This is the 1 hour chart, so it's moving very fast on the lower time frames. If you wanted to speed that up even more, then of course you increase this, and it can go pretty rapid once you start speeding things up. So let's pause that for now. And if you just wanted to select one bar at a time, you can just literally select one bar as it is, like this. Now you can access previous bar, like you can rewind it, but there's also a setting on the main custom settings that doesn't allow you to do that. So essentially you can't cheat with it, which is how I usually like to do it too. I just forgot to put it on this point of view, but it is helpful. So let's say that you're trading a strategy. Let's go simple for, if you're a newbie or you're trading new in the markets, you may be looking at double top patterns, you may be looking at double bottom patterns, you may be looking at anything. So let's put on a few things that a standard trader will be looking at. So let's have a look. Where's the EMA? Cool. So let's put a 50 EMA on as well. Just add. Let's put a double top. Let's put a few different couple things on there as well. Let's just scroll out. So as we can see, we've got this support zone here. This support zone here. I don't use support resistance myself, not in this way anyway. So let's just use this. We've got this double top here, and then we've got this double top here. So let's say you're trading double tops, right? And you're looking to take a trade as price gets to here. So probably people are going to be waiting for a rejection first. So let's play this out. Let's start to actually see what actually happens. So we get a push up to this double top area. Price breaks above this area here. So if anything, that's just adding more confidence to the trade.
Hello.
Siri's starting to get involved in the video. Anyway, it's not the first time that's happened. Throw me off with that. Anyway, what we need to do is, let's say we want to take a trade here, right? So all we basically do is, if you want to take a live trade, then you just take it at market. So we can say risk 1%, let's go with 0.5 for this example, and stop loss in pips or price. Let's say we want to go with, what's this, the 1 hour chart. Let's say we want to do a 20 pip stop, and then if you want to take profit, you can do that as well. Let's say, I don't know, let's say 40 pips, right? So if you want to sell that at market, you can do, or if you wanted to press a pending order and you wanted to have price above here or below here, if you wanted to buy, then of course you could do that as well, which I tend to use. But let's say you wanted to sell here, you would sell that here. You can see the market execution exactly how it would be in the live markets. stop above the high, take profit is down at this previous higher low, which is perfect. And then let's see how this plays out. Okay, funnily enough, it actually took the take profit, but you know, that could have been a loss. But regardless of whatever it does, it would have been ideal if I'd have set the take profit down here, to be fair. Yeah, let's remove the take profit if we can. So if you want to check the trades, you can go on trades, and then you can monitor the trades in detail. So you can access profit and loss, any commission, stop loss, take profit. Let's get rid of the take profit for now. And then if you, let's say, you know, this starts to play out in your favor, which it does, perfect. Let's say you wanted to close part of the trade, you can then do that. So exactly how you would on MT4. If you wanted to close partials, perfect. Sound. So now we've banked some profit, which we can see on here, which is perfect. So we've closed a profit loss of 786, which is perfect. So we got that there, and then we've left the rest of the trade running. So you could essentially close 50% of your position, or 25 or 75, depending on your style. But of course, most people won't be doing that, I would think. So even if you wanted to just keep it open, you could just literally let that run as it is. So price has dropped, which is perfect. And you just literally monitor that how it is. So let's say you had a take profit at this level here. So let's just rewind this. Let's put a take profit in. Let's try and drag this down. Cool. So now take profit set is there. You can track positions here, and now all you need to do is literally, you know, let trade play out. This one hits at profit, which is perfect. And all you then would do, the only problem with backtesting on MT4 is I found with screenshots. So you know how you'd normally add a, you know, let's go on to this. You know how you'd normally add a before and after screenshot into here. So usually how I would have a section on before and after screenshots, and then literally put it in from there. The only problem with MT4 is you don't have a link to actually a screenshot like you do with TradingView. So what I would usually do is literally press Command Shift and 5 on the Mac, and then you can highlight your area that you want to screenshot. So let's say it's just here. So you can do before after screenshot, capture that, that's going to save it on your desktop, and then you can literally go back to that, save it in a Google Drive or whatever you wish, and then that allows you to actually see the trades playing out. I've just found that super helpful, and that's what I've added into my winning trades document that I go over quite regularly too. So just a quick tip there as well. A quick tip as well with this backtesting is to be as accurate and as honest as you possibly can. You know, we've all been there in the past when you first start trading and you think, you know, I've actually cracked this trading thing, it's pretty easy. Like that trade that I've just taken there is pretty much looking, you know, just putting on random support resistance levels that happen to play out. Could have been a loss, whatever it is. But just be as honest as you possibly can with the trades. You know, if the trade's a loss, don't be going back and forth and be like, nah, I wouldn't actually take that. Be as honest as you possibly can. So if you took the trade, take the trade, collect the data. Because a quick tip that I found in last year as well, it's better that you take, you know, let's say you took 20 losses and 20 wins throughout the course of a year. It's better to have that fundamental raw data, because you can work with it, you can make tweaks with it, you can refine it, you can add filters to it to improve it. But if you start skipping things and start cheating yourself and start thinking, you know, oh, that trade was a loss, I'm not going to put that in, or I wouldn't have actually taken that, then it's going to start messing you up, because you're not going to have that raw data to then go back, and you can't be fully honest with yourself. And then if you start taking more losses in the live markets, you know, you can fundamentally come back to the core reason behind that, and that's not actually, it's being accurate. You know, you wasn't accurate when you were testing, so therefore it's just showing itself as a live representation in the live markets of that lack of work that you've put in. So just something to bear in mind. So yeah, that's a quick tip that I would give you, but just bear in mind this backtesting can be a very good tool to use to collect the data, to build confidence, to increase your strike rate, to increase your profit and loss, to just make improvements and see what's happening live in the markets. As you can see on this, from, you know, as close as you're going to get, in my opinion, without forward testing, without actually being in the live markets, to live markets, because you have the trades, you have the profit and loss, you have everything there for you, as we can see from the screen that we just brought up then. Of course, we have the history, you can see everything. We can see closed trade by partial, opened, closed by take profit. We can see everything we need to. and it gives you that live representation of, okay, well, I actually would have banked that in the live markets. How should I have that same amount of capital? So it just gives you that confidence to trade it in live markets, which helped me a lot with the stuff I was developing last year. So just a quick tip, but like I said before, don't cheat yourself. Play it exactly how you would in live markets, or as close as you can as possible, and that's going to give you a great foundation into actually live trading in the markets. Also, what I'm going to show you as well is the stuff that I track with in mind. So once again, I'll do an entirely different video on this in the future. Once I've got a spreadsheet set up for you guys, then I will do a separate video and talk you through that and share that with you. But just if you want to create your own, or you've got your own, some of the things that I do tend to track is obviously you've got trade number, you've got pair, you've got the date, you've got the month, day, time, date closed. Then we've got duration, year, direction, trade setup. So it's just my own style, something I named it. Don't pay too much attention to that. Session was London Open because this was my sub strategy. Any notes that I wanted to add, was it scaling or not, trade quality, you've got risk, stop loss, risk per pip, this is all calculated. And then the result, of course, so you can see, don't worry about taking losses. The reason being, look at how many losses I take here. Like overall, it's got a good strike rate. What was the strike rate here? Strike rate was 56, so it's not bad. It could be improved for sure. I've definitely seen things that are, higher strike rate than this, but the main thing that I focus on is the equity curve. Like how consistent is that equity curve over a long duration of trades, and then you add that to this. This is just 1 year of data. You then start compounding that to 2, 3, 4, 5 years of data, and you start to see how that equity curve plays out. It gives you so much confidence in the live market, so I cannot get that across enough to focus on that. But just to give you a live representation of what I was talking about before, if you didn't have this data right and you're sat here, let's say you start trading a certain style, because this has happened to me before, it's happened to probably everyone. Let's say you take the first trade, your first trade is here, right? Then you take another trade, and then another trade, and before you know it, you're 3% down, or minus 1.5, or how much you risk, you're 3 losses down regardless. So if you just focus on that data, you're going to be doubting your strategy 3 trades in, but not knowing that, okay, well, this is why trading is such a mind game. You can miss out on that one because of hesitation and actually, not being sure about the style. And then what happens next? You then go, okay, it's just probabilities. Next trade, loss. And then next trade, you hesitate. And before you know it, you're messing with the edge, you're messing with the probabilities, you're messing with the style. So once you've got this raw data, the best thing, as long as you've proved it to yourself, and as long as you can stick to your plan, is to literally take every single trade that fits with your style. Because if you start messing with the numbers and start taking this out and this out and this out and this out, you're messing with the numbers, and then that fundamentally comes back to messing with the equity curve, messing with these numbers, messing with this compounded return, messing with these balances that are going to be present at the end of the year. Obviously, there's a completely different thing between backtesting and live markets. Live markets is a completely different ball game altogether. However, backtesting in this way is just going to give you a good start to actually, getting them as close as possible that you can. So hopefully this video is going to be helpful. I don't think there's anything else to go over. I would just literally, like I said, focus on tracking the data, focus on getting the spreadsheets, because then you can go back to it like we've talked about here, and you can see, okay, this is where I would have taken a trade. You can add notes to it, add comments to it on Google Drive, or write it up, or whatever you want to do, but you can see it. Without seeing that in hindsight, it's not going to offer you the same value. So just something to bear in mind as well. But overall, hope this video has been helpful, and hopefully it's actually giving you a guide into actually trading through this platform. And if you've got any questions about anything that I've maybe missed out or not covered, drop that down below in the comments, and I'll be sure to get back to you very, very soon.